In the first grounded reflection, I shared why I'm doing this series. Now I want to begin with one of the first times I remember hearing my inner voice. I didn't know at the time that that's what it was. Back then, it just felt like discomfort, this restlessness inside me. This voice kept showing up even though I didn't know what to do with it. And if you're in the second half of life, wondering why it took so long to hear your own truth, this story may sound familiar. During my senior year of high school, I worked at a local supermarket a few days a week after school, typically between 3 and 6 p.m. A lot of my friends worked there too, so it felt comfortable. It was familiar, it was even fun. And after graduation, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I remember thinking about architecture. I had taken art and mechanical drawing classes in high school, so I thought maybe that was the direction I should go. I found a local technical college nearby, and after 2 years, I graduated with an associate's degree in architectural engineering. Needless to say, it wasn't what I wanted. I did well with the drafting. I could do the work, but my favorite class had actually ended up being psychology. And looking back now, that probably told me more about myself than I realized at the time. After graduation, my grandfather helped set me up with an interview at a drafting company. It should have been the next logical step. I had the degree, there was an opportunity, I had someone helping open the door, but I didn't go. I canceled the interview, not because I couldn't, not because I wasn't capable, but because I didn't feel comfortable with my new skills. And instead of moving forward into the unknown, I went back to what I knew. I went back to the supermarket full time. Why? Because it was familiar. I knew the layout of the store. I still knew most of the people. I knew who I was there. At first, it felt safe, but over time, things changed. My friends started leaving. Some went to school, some found other jobs, some moved on into different parts of their lives. And I was still there. Now, it wasn't an after school job anymore. It was my job. It was my 40-hour a week, pay the bills job. I remember one day sitting on a bench out front between the entrance of the supermarket and a small pizza place. I was wearing my white shirt, my black tie uniform. I had stepped outside to get some fresh air on my break. And as I sat there staring off into the parking lot, this thought came up. There has to be more. There has to be more than opening boxes and stocking shelves day after day after day. There has to be more than this. And I looked at my watch and I went back inside. That is the part that stands out to me now. I heard the voice, but I didn't follow it. I didn't trust it. I didn't have the courage yet to leave what felt familiar. I didn't have the confidence to step into something new. I didn't understand that discomfort was trying to tell me something. So I went back inside. And for a long time, that became a pattern in my life. I would feel something was off, but I'd stay anyway. I would know a situation wasn't right, but hope it would somehow get better. I would hear the inner voice, but simply explain it away. Now, this happened in jobs, in relationships, and decisions I knew deep down I needed to make. I didn't see it then, but I see it now. I was choosing what was familiar over what was aligned with me. And not because I was weak, not because I was failing, but because familiar felt safe. And sometimes when we've learned to survive by keeping things steady, even An unfulfilling situation can feel safer than change. That's one lesson I understand now. The inner voice doesn't always arrive as a clear plan. It sometimes arrives as discomfort, as a quiet knowing. Sometimes it sounds like there has to be more. If we ignore it long enough, that discomfort, it doesn't disappear. It just grows. It follows us to the next job, the next relationship, the next season of life. And for decades, I ignored that voice. I don't say that with guilt anymore. I say it with understanding. That younger version of me, well, he was doing the best he could with what he knew at the time. He knew how to be responsible, how to keep going, how to choose what was familiar. He just didn't know how to trust himself yet. And that came later, much later. And that's why I believe it is never too late to change. That bench outside the store, that happened in my 20s. A deeper understanding didn't come until my 50s. For a long time, I thought that meant I was behind. And now I see it differently. I wasn't behind. I was learning. I was given the same lessons over and over until I was finally ready to understand them. And one of those lessons is this: discomfort is often the first place that tries to speak. It may not tell you the whole answer. It may not give you the full path, but it's asking you to pay attention, because the life you keep explaining away may be the very life your inner voice is trying to help you outgrow. So if there's this quiet discomfort in your life right now, maybe it doesn't need to be judged. Maybe it needs to be heard. Maybe it's not there to make you feel guilty. Maybe it's there to help you guide yourself back to you. That day outside the supermarket, I heard the voice and I went back inside. But the voice never fully left. And eventually I learned to listen. That's where change begins. Not always with this dramatic leap. Sometimes it begins with finally admitting something in me knows there's more. And this time, I'm not going back inside.